Hey y'all, and welcome back. This is episode 2 of Readings That Heal with Marisa Moments, where we're about to be forcing some reflections, accountability, and action through readings, real life stories, and everything that comes along with it. So if you're sensitive, if you're not ready to take up accountability, if you're not ready to be even potentially triggered, let's just be honest, then maybe this isn't the space for you. And you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to pause and give you a moment to exit. All right, so I hope that was enough time. If you're still here, then thanks for staying because you're my type of people. Anyway, let's not be like that, shall we? Anywho, so the message that I received, and this is based off of a true story, by the way. What I heard was, and I wrote it down, was what you thought was dead is about to be renewed, refocused, reborn, and resurrected. Now, here's the true story part, right? So I have a plant named Hope. And I always say, man, I got to keep hope alive. I got her some years ago from my mother-in-law. It's a really nice plant, and it's a struggle for me to keep plants alive. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to say I have a green thumb. I'm not going to say I have a black thumb, whatever color thumb. It does not matter. I try, and sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't, right? But either way, we're not talking about we're talking about hope right here. Anyway, so, let me tell you, I almost threw hope out. Many times, if I'm being real honest. I was like, man, I looked at it. I was like, oh man, it ain't looking good. Like, this is an orchid. So I don't know if that's a flower plant. I don't know, whatever. Google it. Anywho, moving right along. So I was getting ready to throw this plant out. And then every single time something, obviously air quotes something, because as a side note, when I say something, that's obviously spirit. Maybe not obviously, but I'm here to tell you that's spirit, that's God, that's archangels, that's ancestors, that's angels and saints whispering something to you. So every time you say something told me in the next conversation, just remember what I just said right now. Anyway, going back to the story. So something told me to hang on to it, to give it a little bit more time, and not even necessarily attention, really, right? It was just more about time. And so the thing of it was I walked away from hope all the time. I would so I got a tip that you can put like a couple of ice cubes on the plant, and it'll eventually be kind of like self-watering. I don't know the mechanisms. I'm not a botanist. But anyway, so I got that tip, and I would just throw an ice cube there, like, there you go. And then every time I would do it, I'd be like, hey, Hope, keep hope alive. I'd say, like, you grow, girl. That's my saying to mostly all of my plants, at least the female ones. Anyway, I digress once again. So I would do that. And over time, I wasn't really paying that much attention. And then once you know it, literally 3 years, you guys, it took, and then finally some flowers came back out, and I was like, whoa. Well, first and foremost, as a side note, what I received behind that in that moment is that, I am on the right track. I'm doing something right. Now, mind you, in this moment, at that 3rd year mark, it was a very pivotal time in my life, right? I had been under a lot of stress. I had even tried to force my own expiration. I had fallen out with different people. I felt like a burden, just all these different things. It was like the perfect storm, right? And then once I started to make these hard decisions for myself, I had to recognize that, one, I had to create some distance and space between people that didn't necessarily make me feel like the greatest version of myself, right? They didn't necessarily foster that opportunity and ability to grow, right? Nothing, no shade or nothing towards them. It wasn't a vibe, right? It wasn't energetically compatible after a certain time. So once I decided to create that space, which was very, very difficult for me, and make all of these hard decisions and go through all of this therapy and just prayer and just tears and just all of these different things, right? Where I was down on my knees in tears, and then I'd wipe them off and get to work, right? Because I'm also a mom. So, you can only cry for so long before you have to put on that work hat and get to down to it. Anyway, so with all of that being said, once I got on what I will refer to as the air quotes right path. Once I started to become in alignment with my actual purpose and destiny and start creating space for myself as opposed to giving it all away to others, then that's when hope started to bloom. That's when it started to bloom. That's when the flowers started to come, and that's when that resurrection was in full effect. Now, did hope ever die? No. Because there was always a green leaf there. That's what made me not throw it out. There was a green leaf. Was it connected to anything? Was the root still doing well? I don't know. But there was a green leaf, and that was enough. It was the faith of a mustard seed, if you will, to keep me from throwing hope out in the trash. And I'm just being real honest with you because we keep no secrets from each other. Well, maybe some. Anyway. The bottom line to this bottom line, and the reason that Spirit has me bringing this up for you is like, there's a lot of things that you have essentially given up on. You've been wanting to throw it in the trash. Now, I don't know what this means for you. It could mean a relationship. It could mean the pursuit of your destiny. It could mean opening that business. It could mean staying in that relationship or even leaving that relationship. What I receive behind this and that translation and that healing knowledge and the thing that you are supposed to be taking action on is recognizing where your hope resides. Oh, okay, Spirit. Where does your hope reside? Because here's the thing, you got to keep hope alive. You saw some potential there. You knew that it was supposed to be there. Otherwise, it would not have been there. Now, at the same side, or the opposite side of this coin, you also have to recognize when it's time to let go, right? But what Spirit wants you to focus on in this moment, in this here and now, is to keep hope alive. And now we're not talking about being delusional. We're not talking about turning a red flag green. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about keeping hope alive. The place and space where you know it's supposed to be there. But you just got tired of dealing with it. In all honesty, that's what I received. That's what it was with even hope. I was like, you know what? I'm tired. What am I doing? I'm over here maintaining this doggone plan and it doesn't even want to stay alive. So then I had to just step back for a minute and let it do its own thing. Now, how this relates to you is how it relates to you. Now, keep in mind with this and all messages, whether it be a reading from myself or reading from someone else, you always take what resonates and leave everything else. I don't care if the psychic, the medium, the whatever, the tarot reader, whatever it is telling you, hey, this God's Bible truth directly from you, directly from God, and you have to obey and do exactly as I say. Well, first and foremost, you need to walk away, maybe even run away from that person who's telling you that, because nobody could tell you exactly what to do. There's a whole thing called free will, so you get to make the choice. Even if it seems like the answer is clear, you still get a choice. You still get a decision. So the only thing that even God can do in this moment, even Spirit can do in this moment, is make a strong suggestion. So the strong suggestion here is to keep hope alive. Exo facto, stay focused. Don't feel like just because you've given up on hope, that hope has given up on you. Oh, did you catch that word? Because I just did. I got chills. Just because you've given up on hope doesn't mean hope has given up on you. And you are walking into the season and reason for that resurrection, for that rebirth, for that renewal, for that refocus. Don't hang up your hat so quickly. Ooh, y'all hear that confirmation? Y'all heard it. Do not give up, because everything that is meant for you is meant for you, and it will not, I repeat, it will not die. And that's it.